Hey there, it's Heather Blaze, president and founder of Boost You, where I show and support super cool peeps just like you how to have financial freedom and peace by giving you structure and systems for your idea, your product, or your service so you can generate income while you sleep. We're gonna go deep here into your income and revenue streams so you can make a lot more money with whatever you're up to, and so you can have a lot more freedom in your life to do what you love to do. I'm going to guide you on how to get through this often touchy subject so you can really master it and apply it in your business. And the reason I'm doing this is because I struggled with this a lot when I first started, and by teaching you this, it could save you a lot of time and money. You know, like I wish I had a mentor or another successful business owner share this with, share what I'm about to share with you today when I first started. Because getting consistent clients on a regular basis to pay for your product or service can feel kind of puzzling sometimes, and it's really not a mystery. I'm going to break it down and make it so simple for you. And how I know this is I've had my own multi-million-dollar businesses. I've coached hundreds of business owners and managers for over the last 15 years on how to run their successful businesses. So I know a lot about this, and I also know a lot about the struggles of having a business and trying to figure it all out. In the past, I've thought, like, how do I make money doing this? And how can I set it up so it's systemized and streamlined so I don't get too exhausted or waste too much time or money, How do I handle everything? How should I set it up so I can scale it? And where we have to start before we do any of this or go into any of this is we have to see what's not working and where you might be getting it wrong. It's really hard for me to boost your business to the next level without getting clear on this first. So today in our first video, I'll be walking you through 5 dysfunctional business models that don't work. This is where you may be setting things up in your business to break down and will never actually be able to boost your income to the next level. Let's talk about business models that fail. These are the ones that make you feel scared about maybe being taken over by a competitor, maybe unsure of yourself or exhausted, maybe all 3. All right, so let's go through the 5 dysfunctional business models that keep you struggling. But before we start, please go grab something to take notes with. You can pause the video and go grab what you need. We're speaking about your business, and we're going to be speaking about your money. And there are going to be a lot of breakthroughs here for you. So, once you get started and you start understanding what I'm talking about, what I'm sharing with you, you may think, oh my God, that's totally something I need to change. So dysfunctional business model number 1, and I've never met a single entrepreneur or business owner who doesn't have this one going on. This is a foundational one, and I call it the Eeyore model, like thanks for noticing me. And when we're in this Eeyore model, what we're doing is we're operating at a low level of self-esteem. We don't value ourselves. We don't value the service we're offering. We don't even really understand our own value. And so what we do is we see our whole business or service as an object. And what that means is that we charge our precious time for dollars. We look around in our industry, we look to see what others are charging, and then we charge a little less and think, if I do that, maybe they'll want to work with me. And everything ends up being about the dollar amount. And it's about the money and not what it should be. And learning how to value what you do and then strategically communicate that value so that price doesn't matter is what it really should be about. It doesn't matter what you charge when you give enough value. So as long as you're operating from this low level of self-esteem and treating yourself like Eeyore and playing small, you're never going to be able to price yourself or create packages that really deliver value to people. You have to learn how to value yourself. In fact, the tool I'm going to give you today is going to be all about learning just that. And the next business model is what I call the rare night complex. And we all do this. We think this is not going to work for me. None of this stuff works. My clients are different. All of these strategies you're talking about, it won't apply to what I do. And what happens when you do this is here I am doing my best to share this valuable information with you. And you've got this shiny armor all around you. Well, I'm doing my best to break through it and say to you, you are not a rare night. Your people aren't different. Your team's not different. Your clients all want value. And these strategies work for everyone. It doesn't I've trained hundreds of business owners using these exact principles for over 15 years. I built my own 6-figure and 7-figure businesses using these strategies in all different industries, like the restaurant industry, real estate, health and fitness, interior design, children's retail products, business coaching, etc. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, this works for every single one. The next business model is one of my favorites, and it's called the circle of reacting and panic, or more simplified, you can call it C.R.A.P. When you're in the C.R.A.P model, what happens is you're going along and you realize, oh, I have no clients. I have no clients. Oh my God, I have no clients. And what do? You react. And you start marketing and networking, and it doesn't matter if they're an ideal client. It doesn't matter if you're clear. It doesn't matter if you spend your time for dollars or whatever. All you want to do is fill that calendar. Does this sound familiar? You're reacting to your calendar, and then you get so slammed that you go into panic mode because all you're doing is delivering and just giving and giving and giving. And you can't hire anybody because your time, by the time you hire somebody and show them how to do it, you just might as well do it yourself because you're so crazy busy that there's no time to breathe. And then what happens is you finish up with those clients and they go away, and then you're back to the empty calendar again. And the whole circle begins and you go back to reacting. And you could fill an entire calendar year with this crap. I know people who have filled an entire business, an entire decade with that model in their business. And I tell you, when it's like that, it's time to streamline it. It's time to systemize it. You do not have to have your business run this way. The next model is called the duct tape model. In this model, you're not thinking of your business as a business. You're typically trying to see what you can get away with. And so you're just trying to duct tape solutions. Something goes wrong and you add a little duct tape. Something else isn't working, so you add a little more duct tape. And you're just running around looking for new tactics. So when someone says, hey, it's all about Facebook ads. You got to learn Facebook ads. You start to focus on that. And then they're like, oh no, you should have a blog. And then you create a blog. Oh man, you got to go into podcasts, and you start a podcast and you go crazy trying to do everything. And what's happening is you're getting exhausted and you end up thinking the worst thing, which is something must be wrong with my business. But nothing's wrong with your business. What's wrong is the model that you have it set up on and what you're operating under. It's so important that we start here looking at these dysfunctional business models, because in video 2, I'll be giving you different ways of setting up your business so that you're thinking about it like as a business and not just doing quick little fixes that you can, just to try and figure it out. Like, I want you to create a 6-figure, maybe a 7-figure business because you're standing on such a solid foundation and not because you're throwing more duct tape up on it. And the next dysfunctional business model is called the PICASSO effect. And I love Picasso. However, when I see people with this business model running, when I meet them, they resemble like a piece of abstract art. And there's a thing here and a thing there and an eyeball here and a hand there. And they don't know what to do. And what's happened is they started their business and people have come up to them and said, oh, you're so good at this. Can you do this? And they say, yeah, sure. And then someone else comes up and says, oh, but you're so good at that. Would you do that? And they say, yeah, okay. And before you know it, they've got like 15, 22, 30 different things that they're offering. And I used to see this a lot when I was with Quiznos. The franchisees were supposed to follow a system and be consistent so customers would always know what to expect. And I would go into these stores and I would find random additional things that other owners were not offering. And what would happen is the customer would go in and expect that store to offer it, and then they wouldn't, and they would be upset or confused and possibly never go back. And have you ever seen those Chinese restaurants that sell like hot dogs and donuts and pizza and lottery tickets? They're trying to please everyone and they're all over the map. And what ends up happening is it looks low quality and even a bit scary. Like, you might get food poisoning, so you don't want to go in there. And what happens is they end up going out of business. And the kind of person that does this is the kind of person that lets themselves get dragged around by other people. They don't want to appear rigid, or they're kind of uncomfortable with business, but mostly they're uncomfortable with their own clarity, which goes back to that Eeyore syndrome, because they haven't gotten clear about their own value and about what value they want to offer. And what's really happening is they've created a lot of everything, trying to be everything for everyone. And it's excruciatingly painful once they realize that what they've really created is a big mess. So, okay, one more business model, and this is a bonus because even if you could identify with the other 5, you could still be doing this one as well. And I call this the one-shot model. Please understand this one and how detrimental it is to you. So a lot of times when we start a business, we run out and we get our first client and we make our money, and that client goes away, and then we get another client and we make our money, and we just keep getting more and more clients. And the problem is that it's one transaction after one single transaction, one shot after one shot. And you may say, well, wait, what's wrong with that? Like, isn't that what you're teaching me here? Getting more clients? I mean, I could make a lot of money doing that. What's wrong with that, you know? What's wrong with this model is that your business can't scale like this, and you will run out of hours in the day if you're setting it up like this. It's one single transaction after one single transaction, and you know, it's like back to that time for money. Now, I know a health coach and she does this, and she's actually very successful, but no matter how hard she works, she'll only ever be able to make a maximum of 300 per year with all the given hours that she has. And you might think, wow, that's great, but she's absolutely exhausted and she's totally limiting herself because she can't get any more clients because there's only so many people, you know, so many hours in the day, and she's only one person. So until you learn what I call the Boost You model, you'll never be able to get past that ceiling in your business. And the Boost You model is more refined. It's where you actually create a system out of your business. And that's what this training is all about. We want to create it so that mastering your money for you means mastering what your business offers and how you get paid, and creating a streamlined, sustainable business that grows and grows and grows without burning you out. Okay, so the reason why each of these business models is dysfunctional is completely about you and what's inside of you. So some of the things you're going to learn as we go through this training together is that I don't just teach strategy and structure, I teach tapping into your inner soul, and it translates into soul in your business. Like these are things, this is where you find things like clarity, vision, tuning into who you really are, and your mindset. And it all starts with this stuff. That's where we're going to start today. I have a tool that I want to give you. It's called the Value Activator tool. And when you complete this, you're going to start to understand and create a foundation that's based on your value, or what I call your superpower. And this is so important because we're going to go into our second training, and that's going to be all about pricing and what you charge and how you boost what you offer. So it's really important before we get into that training together that you go through this exercise first to get very clear about that for yourself. So which of these dysfunctional business models could you most identify with? Which do you feel is operating in your business the most? And what do you need to do to break past that? So once you've completed the Value Activator tool, I will see you in training number 2.